Hey guys, it's Maymay and welcome to Stamping Saturday. This is the day of the week when I play with items from the store and show you some ways to use them. This weekend, I'm going to be playing with one of these Do Craft background stamps. These are amazing. This is my original size Misty, so it's the larger Misty. And look at the size of this background stamp, and these are $9.99. They're the best deal, and there's some great patterns, including wood grain and brick and a bunch of other ones. So check those out. I'll put links to those below. But what I want to show you today is something that I think is pretty cool. I'm going to show you an ombre technique using distress oxides, but I think you could use any ink. I'm just going to use this one and my blending tool and this background. I think it's going to be fun. So here's what I'm going to do. So what I've got here is I've got my background stamp loaded, and I've got a 4 by 5 1/4 piece of cardstock to be the background of a card. What I'm going to do is take this broken china. I'm using the distress ink, but you could really use any for this. And I'm going to put my ink pad in it, my blending tool in it a lot. I want to get a lot of ink on it, so I'm being very, very, very generous, okay? And what I'm going to do is just kind of where this card starts, I'm going to start patting this ink pad onto the surface of my stamp. But I'm going to work my way down and not re-ink my stamp. So the heavier ink will be at the top and the lighter ink will be at the bottom, and it's going to give us that ombre effect. Now, I'm not going to go back over it because I don't want to smear it. I want to keep that ombre look. So now when we turn this over onto our card, you'll be able to see it. Now, can you see how it's darker at the top and then it's lighter toward the bottom? Isn't that cool? And it gives you a nice ombre background. I'm going to do it again with another color because I think you'll be able to see it better with a brighter color. And let me clean this off. On camera, it doesn't show as well. So we're going to do the same thing, and this time I'm going to use the worn lipstick. You can see I've been doing it. So this ink pad is already pretty dark from having the oxides on it before. And I find that the more we have, the more ink we have, the better it does. So I've loaded up that pad, and now I'm going to start at the top and do the same thing. Stamp all the way across with that blender tool and work my way down. And it's just going to make it lighter and lighter and lighter as we go. And just make sure you cover enough so that when you bring it over onto your card, it covers all your background, if you're wanting to make it a background. All right, so I'm going to slide this up a little bit because I think I went a little high. That's too high. You can see it, especially in person, I can see where it's laying. Okay, there we go. Still think I went a little in the wrong spot up there, but we'll see. Look how pretty that is. Let me bring it up close to you so you can see. See how pretty, how it's darker and then lighter, and that kind of ombre effect? I think that's beautiful. Well, you know we can't stop there. I want to try another way of doing it, so let me show you something else. Since I have these two ink pads already dirty, I'm going to use these two colors, and I'm going to ink in a stripe. I'm going to put this in here like this so I can see where I need to be at the top, and I'm going to ink up this pink one and go across the top. Like so, and I can really see that pink. Okay, and I'm going to take the blue. You can't see me doing it, I'm off screen, but I'm loading up that blue. Then I'm going to come right under it and do a blue. Put that back, and now I'm going to go back to the pink. You could mix up colors. I just had these two ink pads already ready and loaded, so I thought I would do this for the video. And pink and blue is cute. And I'm just going to keep striping till I have enough stripes to cover the whole front of my card. And now we're ready to stamp it onto our card base. I want to make sure I'm covering it. Feels like I am. It feels a little crooked. Okay. Let's press that down. This is going to be really pretty. Look at that. That is so cool. Do you see how we get the two-tone effect of the color? And we can do this in so many different ways. Let me do another way. Now what I've done is I've taken a piece of cardstock and I've put it into the corner of the Misty here, put a magnet to hold it down. I'm going back to that worn lipstick. Now you don't have to use the same color over and over again, but I am because I already have these loaded and I'm just showing you the technique. You could totally change this to different colors. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to come to this stamp with the blender tool, and at the beginning of the word or the end, you pick, but I'm going to start with the M. I'm going to ink from one end very heavily and then I'm just going to work my way out to the end without backing up over it. Okay, so I just worked my way out, and I can literally see how it's darker on one end than the other. So now when I put this over and stamp it, you'll see what we get. It's pretty cool. Look how we get this ombre effect on our ink pad, or on our paper. Isn't that cool? I think it's pretty neat. Let's do it in blue so you might can see it even better. So I got another piece of cardstock. I'm going to go back to the broken china color. I'm going to load up this ink blending tool. The more you load, the more you do this, the less you have to load them because they stay pretty wet while you're working. So I'm going to take that blue and start at the M and really fill it in nice and full. And then once I feel like I've got a good coverage on the M, I'm just going to work my way down. Nice, even pats of color. Not too much because I don't want the whole thing to be dark blue. I want it to ombre. Let me show you. So it's like having an ombre pad without having an ombre pad. See how the color changes? It's really cool. Let's do it with another stamp. Okay, so now I've loaded a flower on this side, and let's go back to the pink. And let me show you that. I'm going to ink up that pad. And again, I want the ombre look, so I'm going to start to load the ink on one end. And I'm going to let you see what I did there. See how I loaded it to one end. Nice and full. And then I'm just going to work my way over without going back, without crossing back over it. And it just sort of naturally does the ombre, right? Do that one more time. There we go. Now let's see what we get. Can you see it? It's very ombre, and you can tell that I put the ink around the edges more. So you can even do it around the edge like the rock and roll technique and just ink the edges and then stamp it. Let's do that one too. It's super fun to play. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go all the way around the edges of the stamp, over and over, and get the heaviest ink on the edges. You can see where you're putting the ink, especially on these bright colors, and see the mess I made on my Misty. No big deal. Then I'm going to go in the middle and just pat until I feel like there's some color happening there. So basically you're just doing some ink blending on your stamp itself. And then don't worry about what's on the Misty because it's not going to get on your paper. It's no big deal. And then press that on. And look at that one. It's so pretty. It looks like it's highlighted in the middle. Isn't that cool? I think it is. It's pretty neat to be able to play with those like that. It really looks like it's got light coming out of the center, which is probably hard for you to see on camera, but I feel like that shows. All right, one more thing. Let's do another sentiment, and let's just see how it looks. So I've decided to use this big long word that says celebrate. I'll pick that guy up, and then I can put a magnet down to hold this in place. You can put that magnet down first. I just always forget. So put that down. And now I'm taking the orange marmalade, or the spice marmalade, this orange color, and I'm going to use it because I think you'll be able to see it, again, really cool in this bright color. So starting at the first of the word, you don't have to start at the first. That's just where I like to start. At the beginning of the word, and then work my way down and let the ink just ombre itself. Because it just naturally does. You can really see it on there, can't you? I should have been using the orange the whole time. So just naturally, and then let's just bring this over and you'll see it. And look at that. I think that is so cool. Let me bring that up to you. Look how it just naturally ombres itself. I love it. You totally could mix the colors too. None of that is, really like new or groundbreaking technique because you've always been able to mix the colors. But using your ink blending tool makes it really cool because it gives it such a nice blended look. Let's do this celebrate in 3 colors. So this time I'm going to show you doing it with your ink blending tool and doing 3 colors on the stamp. So I'm going to take this orange and I'm going to go over the C, about a third. I'm going to use 3 colors, so I'm going to cover a third of the stamp in this color. Pretty. Then I'm going to take the worn lipstick and go to the middle. And I'm not really overlapping, even though it seems like I really am, because I'm trying to keep my ink pad fairly clean. So I'm not really overlapping. I'm just going right to the edge of that last color. And then the broken china. So same thing, ink it up, and then tap it. Just till those colors get close to each other. Perfect. Now let's stamp it on our paper. Look how beautiful that is. Now, I have done this same technique using like my Memento inks before, just taking the pad straight to the stamp. But I thought it's really cool if you use your ink blending tool. And how many times are we loading these ink blending tools up and using them and have some ink left that we can do something like this. And now this can be a perfect card front for when I need it. Love it. Let's look at all of how those look. So there's the different ones we did, like the ombre sentiments, the ombre flowers, the ombre background, even the stripe background. And just look how cool they are. It's a cool way to play with your stamps, play with your inks, and kind of mix things up a little bit. I think it looks awesome. This one is my favorite. I'm going to pick a favorite. This is my favorite look. I think that looks like a party, right? Thanks so much for watching today, guys. I know we didn't do a project, but this is a great way to get you started on your next project. Maybe try this ombre technique on your next card or your next, I don't know, mini album that you do. Thanks so much for watching today, guys, and I'll see you again next week. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.